of La Penta. This is WICR.
Hello, Iona College. Welcome back to Entertainment Overload. I'm your host with the most, Jersey Joe, back with my partner in crime, Mr. Armand Medeo. How you doing, Armand?
I'm doing great, Joe. It's great to be back on the show this morning.
It really is. You know, I got to say, all the time, my favorite two shows to do, always the Sports Vault and then Entertainment Overload. I mean, Armand, people have compared us. I don't know if you've heard it. We've been compared to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady, and Batman and Robin. Those are some pretty good comparisons.
Those are some great dynamic duos. So if we're going to be compared to them, I'm just happy.
There you go. You know, it's always a pleasure to be compared to them. But Armand, last week we geeked out talking Flash, talking Arrow, talking Walking Dead, and I was talking about it with my brother. I mean, think about this TV lineup we've got right now. You've got The Walking Dead on Sundays, you've got Gotham on Mondays, you've got Flash on Tuesdays, and on Wednesdays you've got Arrow. That's a heck of a TV lineup.
Yeah, I mean, each night we're booked.
Oh, yeah.
Now, plus Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean,
although this Sunday wasn't much of a game to miss for The Walking Dead. So.
I mean, it was good for, the first quarter.
First quarter. There you go. First quarter. Did you watch The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on.
Okay, but I got to ask you, just from not watching the show before, did that episode work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of gathered the idea that there's two different sides of humans. Determinist people were bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call these, what's the lady with the machete?
Oh, Michonne?
Yeah, her whole group with the head guy with the kid.
Oh, yeah, Rick.
Yeah, I don't know their names.
That's what I was going to ask you, though, because, when I watched that first episode, I was like, oh, my God, they're taking this violence to, another level. The old show had its gruesome moments.
Why, it's more graphic now?
Oh, my God. Well, I don't want to ruin the spoilers for people, but there's a scene at the very beginning. Kind of remember that scene where they're kind of doing the...
I mean, there was a lot of graphic scenes.
There was, but I mean, that was I was like, oh my God, I think they're going for an even darker tone this season.
I like it, man.
Oh, it was great. I thought it was the best episode I saw. No, but I mean,
it's not like one of those shows. I mean, you can pick up at any point. I mean, there's not that much of a storyline. How complicated could killing zombies
exactly.
be?
It's zombies. It can't go that bad. But I want to ask you about Gotham because I gotta admit, folks, I've fallen off. I'm not caught up at all. I want to get caught up at all. Armand, have you been following Gotham?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I've watched all 4 episodes so far, and it's been nothing short of stellar.
Really?
It's been amazing.
Did not disappoint you to this point?
No, it did not. And each show, there's always a new bad guy, and James Gordon and his partner Harvey Bullock are trying to figure out the case. So, I mean, it's been a really good show so far. You need to definitely get involved with that show.
I really do, because it's funny. We went on a couple weeks ago, and I can't believe we were so excited for that show. And then it came around, and I just haven't gotten around.
I'm still excited.
I'm glad that you're sticking with it.
Don't drain my excitement.
Oh, I'm not draining. Trust me, man. I'm on the. We are Batman and Robin, so I have a responsibility to Batman to watch.
Robin has vacated the premise.
Robin is vacated. He's off on his own right now. He's lost. All right, Armand. Now let's go.
He can't be found.
He cannot be found. But that's why we also use the other comparisons. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen.
There you go.
You always know where they are.
That's probably more reasonable right now.
There you go. But let's go on to The Flash. Now, thankfully, I have been able to keep up with The Flash. You have as well.
Yes.
Episode 2. What are your thoughts so far?
Again, I think this show's... I mean, the graphics still look a little cheesy to me.
Yeah, I agree.
They really do. I think if it was on Fox, remember in the last show, I think the graphics would be better.
Yeah, you made a very good point about that. I agree.
But, I mean, the show, it's got a good storyline, it's got good characters, so, I mean, it's been good so far.
It has. I'll read the IGN review. They gave it an 8.6 last night. They said, great. The Flash continued to entertain in its sophomore episode thanks to a blend of superhero action and heart. The positives, great character dynamics. Flash's powers are depicted well. I agree with that. Integrated mysteries are building, and that's what we'll talk about in a minute. But that's a very good point right there. And then the negative, corny lines and underdeveloped villain. I think those are fair criticisms. I mean,
it's always been both episodes have had underdeveloped villains.
I agree.
And even the third episode looks like he's underdeveloped. The poisonous gas guy? Come on, it's like the first guy.
I think pretty much it's just they're kind of just adding one more component to each villain.
I think they do the night before.
They're gonna get I think they're just kind of teasing us, and eventually it'll get to the good stuff. But for now, and I agree too, the corny lines. There are some corny lines in it. It's Flash. But, it's okay.
I mean, Barry Allen does have complicated issues with himself. He does. He has inflicted problems in his own development. He always doubts himself, and then all of a sudden Joe...
And that was a good part of the episode.
Joe's They're like, wait, did you see when the guy got out of the wheelchair and stabbed the other guy?
That's what I was just gonna ask you. A spoiler alert, just in case for people.
That scared me. I didn't know what was going on.
Well, that was the
so
crazy
random.
thing. I think that because remember at the end after he said that, he said his name is Flash,
he needs to be protected
and he needs to be
something.
protected. Because in the first episode at the end, if you remember, they showed him scrolling through that futuristic.
I
Like,
think the
newspaper.
guy's bad. I'll be honest with you.
I have my suspicions he's bad too.
I think he's like the main villain,
But
and he's got like some type of
They
crazy
did a
powers.
good job about confusing us because you're like, okay, he's bad when he stabbed the guy, but
Bro.
then when he said Flash needs to be protected,
I
you're
think he's
like-
got missiles in that wheelchair. I'm telling you, he's just gonna be like,
Ooh.
he's gonna pop one out, bang.
Here's my theory right now, Armand. You can agree. You could have your own theory, but I think. What do we keep seeing kind of the theme? Barry's trying to kind of free his dad's name.
Free his dad, get Iris.
I think, remember when they showed like the bolt of that other Flash guy from the future who apparently killed his
Yeah.
mother? I think that guy might be the killer.
The wheelchair guy?
I think that might be him, and he's from the Flash from the future.
Joe, you know what? That's a really, really good point.
I
never
don't know.
thought of that.
I've been thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I'm wrong, but it would make sense.
It's a realistic,
I don't know.
could happen. Definitely
I think
could
that would
happen.
be kind of cool. But I'm really enjoying Flash.
That would, but if it is the case, you heard it first here.
Yes, you did. You heard it on Entertainment Overload. We broke the story first. If we're wrong, forget about it. You never heard it here.
Just let it
But
go
if-
over your head.
Exactly. If we were right, definitely remember about it. Tell your friends. Tell
Cite
everyone.
us, cite us.
Yeah, Twitter. Go on Twitter. Put it up there. The last show I want to get to on the slate is Arrow. Now, Armand, I don't know if
Oh,
you
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, and I
contribute to this.
can't blame you because it's one of those shows where you'll enjoy it so much more when you're caught up, and you don't have time to catch up on it right now. I mean, but Arrow for me, episode 1, really enjoyed it. I mean, it's one of I think. Unlike The Flash is good in its own right, but I think Arrow's kind of got its own identity going now. A little bit more serious, I would say, than Flash is right now, but I love it so far. Episode 1 definitely did not disappoint. Left off on a very... CW, that's one thing I think they do really well. They build and they pace these episodes really well. The pacing in the episodes, the way it ends, they always leave you with like a nice little cliffhanger. I think they do a really good job with that.
I was scrolling down on IMDb, and it said I was looking at the episodes for Flash, and it said episode 10. It's the episode's called The Flash vs. Arrow.
Ooh.
Maybe they
See,
fight.
That I thought I asked my brother because I missed a little bit of the episode in between. I was like, please tell me I didn't miss anything with the Arrow in it. He said I did not in the episode last night. So that would be really cool.
I think the Flash would. Nah, who do you think's stronger?
This is a good debate here. Because here's the thing, I think you would have to give Flash the upper hand just because Arrow doesn't really have any special abilities.
He's just a wannabe Legolas.
Exactly. And we'll get to Legolas, Armand. I got the next thing I want to talk about
He's
involving
the best
Legolas.
archer of all time. I don't want to hear him, Joe.
Oh, I don't know. Come on, Armand. We got the best archer of all time. Well, let's go into the next thing then. Did you see the second Hobbit movie?
Yes, I did.
I saw it this weekend,
It was
Armand.
great, man.
It blew my mind.
This
it was
weekend, why are you
incredible.
so late?
What?
You gotta come to
Oh,
the movies with us.
I
Big
do
Shot
have to
Rob,
come.
me, and you, we're out.
Oh, the big 3 right there. We will be on for WICR. I'll give a little shout
Tara,
out to it
Tara,
now.
you can come too if you want.
Yeah, Tara, you're in too. Everybody can come.
Everybody come.
When we do, in a couple weeks on October 28th, we'll have our WICR Halloween Radiothon.
Ooh.
The big 3, Mr. Armand Medeo, myself, and Big Shot Rob are going to be holding down the final hour of the show, talking all Halloween stuff.
Joe, we
scary
have to get costumes.
We do have to get... Do you
We
have
still
any
haven't talked about this
ideas
yet.
what you're wearing yet?
I have no clue.
I'm going to be honest, too. I have no clue. My backup...
Something that, unites all of us.
Exactly. The big 3. Yeah, my backup is going to be headband with the LeBron jersey.
No, come
it's
on.
too
I do
easy.
that every
I
year. It's not even
I
a
agree.
costume.
I know. It's bad. But we'll have to keep on thinking of something. But let's go back to Hobbit for a minute. Yeah, the first Hobbit movie I saw, I was like, okay, it's not bad. It had some good scenes. But the second one, man, start to finish...
No, the best scene's the
So
river
good.
scene. Oh, man, the river
Oh, with
scene
Legolas
was
jumping all over the...
insane.
Yeah, with the barrels. What
He
a
was
great...
jumping on heads, like...
That
oh,
dragon was so cool,
the
too.
dragon was pretty
That
cool.
was... And the way
That was
they...
some great CGI.
Armand, I was so excited. I was ready for it. I saw the dragon. He left that temple. He's going for the village. I'm like, all right, let's see how this thing's gonna end. It just ends.
I don't like he's like, I am fire.
Yeah,
I am ash.
I'm like, no, I want to see what happens. It was great.
And then Bilbo's like, what have we done? What have you done? You let a dragon out. Come on.
It was honestly
create havoc.
I did not expect to enjoy that as much as I did. It was
definitely a lot better than the first one.
It really was. And I think when I watched the trailer of the third one, just because since I saw the second one.
Can I tell you why, Joe?
Yeah, tell me why.
Let's see if you know why. Why is the second one better than the first one?
A lot more action, I would say, man.
No, man. It's because Legolas is in it. And Tauriel. They're both game changers.
That's his friend?
Well, Legolas likes her, but she doesn't feel the same. No, actually.
Yeah, wasn't
no,
there
the father doesn't want her to be with him.
Okay.
And she likes
Hobbit. You could see that. And I was going to say
the dwarf.
The dwarf. Okay.
Keekly or Giggly.
Luke Kuechly is in the movie.
No, Luke Kuechly.
He's a monster. Do you know he's leading the league in tackles right now?
Yeah, but
74.
his defense is very questionable. Well, let's not talk about the Panthers.
Let's not talk about the Panthers. How do we go? Who else could go from the Hobbit to the Carolina Panthers rushing defense?
Because Luke Kuechly has a similarity with a dwarf name.
Man,
that's why.
You think that Peter Jackson's a Carolina Panthers fan?
Maybe.
I don't know how else you could come up with a name like that unless you were a Carolina Panthers fan.
You know what I realized? In all the professional sports, they need to have a professional team called the Dragons.
You know what? This is gonna upset you, and it used to be so exciting for me. There used to be an Arena Football League team called the New York Dragons.
I don't watch arena football.
I don't watch arena football either. But when I saw there was a team called the New York Dragons,
that's a cool name.
I was like, I'm all in. I was probably the #1 New York Dragons fan.
Could you imagine? That would be such a cool jersey, knowing you.
Oh my God,
you
so
get the dragon patch on the side, the dragon in the middle.
See, I had the hat and I had the T-shirt, but I never got the jersey because the team was only around for.
Do they still make it?
I'm sure you could find one somewhere.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. New York Dragons. I mean, look, it's the arena.
New York Dragon. Oh, no, I just love Madagascar. You ever seen the movie Madagascar?
Oh, of
when they
course.
get down, they're like, New York Giants.
That was such a good movie. There's a couple of them, right?
There's like 5 of them.
I know.
I got lost. I don't know which one.
I have no idea. I think after the first one, I lost, but the first one was
classic.
Classic. You can't go wrong. And that's the thing is sometimes it's just nice to like have that nostalgia. Go back and watch those movies Madagascar and that stuff.
I always visit my youth. All right.
Oh,
I watch The Lion King like every other Tuesday.
It makes me, and I was sad about that because people were asking me about The Lion King, and I can't remember a thing about that movie.
Were you deprived as a child?
I have to go back now and watch it because I just can't remember. I can't remember anything about it. Maybe one of the songs or two. I can't remember it though.
You don't know the songs?
No.
Circle of Life.
Oh, I can't remember.
I can't sing it too because I don't even know what they say in the song. But
oh, come on, you got a beautiful voice. You can sing it for us.
Can you feel love tonight to go on?
There you go.
All right.
What did I want to say next though? I had something geared up in the chamber. We were talking Hobbit. We're moving along. Feel the jet. There you go. Well, let's go on to the next thing, Armand. 15 days until the NBA season.
Oh, I can't wait. 16 till Vince Carter.
Oh my God. Oh, 16. Who's his first game again?
Minnesota Timberwolves, which should be an easy 1-0 start.
Get to see Andrew Wiggins and Ricky Rubio light it up against them. That should be kind of fun. There you go. No, I'm just kidding.
Thaddeus Young,
yeah. Anthony Bennett,
Oh yeah, watch out for him.
He'll do something.
He's a spoiler alert for the NBA.
Oh my! It was funny because for everybody who doesn't know yet, I jumped the bandwagon. I'm a huge LeBron fan, so when he went from Miami back to Cleveland,
you do what I do with Vince.
There you go. So when I watched so much Cavs preseason basketball, still when Anthony Bennett and Wiggins were still on the team in the summer league, and I was trying to convince myself Anthony Bennett could maybe be serviceable. He could do something. I'm like, he's not that bad. Maybe he could do something, but
yeah, maybe he could take a charge. That's about it.
At the end of the day, I was just like, he's just bad.
What do you find in Cavalier preseason basketball? Every time I watch NBA TV and there's preseason basketball, it's always the Detroit Pistons. Get them out of here. They're always on. I don't want to watch Brandon Jennings.
You don't want to watch Jody Meeks take 20 shots a game, Armand?
No.
Really?
I don't. Brandon Jennings, no. Josh Smith,
Young
no.
Buck. That is such a weirdly assembled team.
Pope. I mean, where's the balance in this team?
I
like their big man. That's about it.
Yeah,
Monroe and Drummond. I think that's a good one.
And that's why it made no sense. Why would you bring in Josh Smith to that team? How does he fit in?
They're trying to be overly big.
Yeah.
I think
That
you should
always
get a
works.
small forward like McDermott or somebody just space the floor and shoot because they can't shoot at all.
Well, then you got young Buck coming up the floor. Well, he's not young Buck anymore because he doesn't play for the Milwaukee Bucks anymore. But I don't know, as a point guard, he drives me
Brandon
crazy.
Jennings.
He drives me crazy.
He's like a wannabe Iverson, but
He is
not nearly as good.
No, I think that's a perfect comparison. I mean, remember his final season with the Bucks? They did like a shot chart on some of the shots he took. It's like what do you play it like the rec league in
He's playing like
in
a pickup
Detroit?
game, and he's trying
It's
to
like,
prove everyone.
oh my
nice.
god, it was terrible. And then remember the spat him and J.R. Smith got into? That was kind of funny.
J.R. Smith's always a character. I mean, ties laces off people's shoes.
Yeah, what was he like 4 for 12 the other day in a preseason game? Same
I think
J.R.
JR is
Smith.
gonna. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna play good this year though.
Well, I'll ask you about that then. Let's talk about the Knicks. I mean, since we're so close to the season, what do you think for the Knicks? I'll be honest, I've been very critical of the Knicks. I'm not a Carmelo fan. I never have been. I don't like his style of play.
No.
I hate people who the ball stops with. I think my philosophy in basketball is there's two teams that win in the NBA. I mean, you look at the last couple seasons, who's been winning titles?
Spurs and Heat.
and Spurs. What were the Heat and the Spurs the best at the NBA?
Moving the ball.
Moving the ball. Exactly. See, great minds, man. They think alike. Moving the ball and defense. Ball movement and defense are the key to winning in this league, and that's what Carmelo and the Knicks have never done. I mean, Armand, you've always been adamant about it. You watch this team play. They're probably one of the worst ball-moving teams in the NBA.
And you know what they do? They sell for isolation basketball. They'll have the clock tick down to 5 seconds. Melo's crossing over. J.R. Smith does the same thing at 4 seconds left. The double team comes and it's too late. They throw up a stupid shot because the ball stops, as you said, Joe, and that's a good point.
Absolutely, and it's part of the reason why I watched so much Miami Heat basketball the last couple years, but last year the one thing that really stuck out of me why I thought they wouldn't win the title was just the ball movement was not the same as it had been. I mean, you watch them, and it was like watching a different team because you watch them the 2 seasons they won the championship. They moved the ball so effortlessly. It was very good passing. Everybody was on the same page. And you watch the Spurs in the finals last year. I mean, ball movement was incredible. It's important ball movement, and it matters. But let's talk about the Knicks, Armand. What do you think for the team this year? Obviously, a lot of changes. You've got a new head coach, bringing in a new offense, the triangle offense. What's the outlook for the Knicks this year?
I tell you first, the first thing that's on the radar for the Knicks is they have weak front court players.
I think that's a very good point.
Tyson Chandler hasn't particularly played well the last 2 seasons, but losing him was a big loss. And bringing in Samuel Dallenberg and I mean, Amari Stoudemire is in his last year of his contract, so he has a lot to prove. But I think he's done. They're gonna be tormented on the front court.
I agree. And here's the funny thing. I think what do we hear like all last year Knicks fans were saying we're going to get Kevin Love. We're going to be waiting
Who
to
wants
Ron.
to come play with Melo?
Who wants to play with Melo?
And JR?
I hear people say all the time, well, everybody wants to play with Melo. If everyone wants to play with Melo, why haven't they done it? People have had opportunities to play with Melo.
Someone like Calderon, I don't know how this is going to work either, because watching Calderon play 82 games like every game with the Dallas Mavericks, Calderon is a good passer. I mean, he's not one of the most flashier passers like a Chris Paul or anything, but he makes the pass when need be. But he's also a guy who likes to spot up and shoot, and he will work off people like Monte Ellis and Vince Carter to break down the offense, kick it out, and throw it to him. No one's going to do that with the Knicks.
No, I think that's a very good point.
So I don't
know
how. What was the reason to bring Calderon? I don't understand the Knicks organization. Their management skills are horrible.
And that's been my big knock on them. And I'm so surprised that Phil Jackson ever took this position because the whole reason why I think you've never seen a strong head. What has James Dolan always wanted? A weak head coach he could control. No disrespect to Mike Woodson, Mike D'Antoni, but they were guys who could be controlled. Dolan was the one running the show, calling the shots.
And he's a fool, too. I don't like
He is. He thinks he knows basketball personnel, basketball decisions, and he doesn't.
Every good player the Knicks have, they get rid of.
Think about where the Knicks were going before they made that Carmelo trade. They were definitely going in the right direction. They had a good roster. They gave all of it away for Carmelo Anthony.
And you know what's funny? Bringing Melo in, it screwed over Raymond Felton and Amari. Both of them were having all-star stellar seasons.
They were phenomenal that year.
And look at them now. They've declined drastically.
In sports and life, man, I always say it's all about momentum. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Are you going in the right direction? The Knicks have been going in the wrong direction. You don't start good and then finish badly.
Joe, I still see them as a -500 ball club.
I could see,
and even in the weekend Eastern Conference.
yeah.
So.
Look, I'm optimistic. I like bringing in Derek Fisher, and I'm a huge Phil Jackson guy. But at the end of the day, you just got to look at the personnel. And I think when you're a guy like Carmelo at his age, you're going to be the player that you've been your whole career. You're not going to change that dramatically, and it's hard to see Carmelo really changing his game that much.
I feel like coaching, especially in the NBA, is not as impactful as it is in the NFL. In the NBA, you can only do so much. You're not the guys always. I mean, you can call pick and roll, but most teams are gonna call pick and roll. I mean, calling basketball plays is not as big as it is in the NFL. I don't think the head coach, the assistant coach, whatever, they're not all. They don't have the same capability as an NFL coach does on the game.
I think you're 100% right.
What you said before, the personnel is all that matters, especially in the NBA.
It is. I mean, you look at the NFL, you look at a team like the 49ers. When Harbaugh came and took over that team, they were a mess. He takes the team first year, they go to the AFC Championship.
Exactly.
There's no sport where a coach matters and makes as big a difference as the NFL. I mean, remember when Sean Payton got suspended? When he came back, Vegas had the Saints as about a touchdown better that year. So they were pretty much saying that just his presence alone meant the Saints were about a touchdown better than they were last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge difference for just a head coach.
Like even Chuck Pagano, he came in and turned around that whole organization back to the Peyton Manning days when they were good, and now they are still good. So
it's all my man Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's stay with the Knicks though.
I think we're boring, Tara.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Tara. We'll have to, when we go to a break in a couple minutes, we'll try to come up with something more interesting there. But let's stay with the Knicks for a minute. Funny story this morning, Armand. Phil Jackson says Knicks fan Spike Lee doesn't know anything about basketball. Now, we were just talking about it before. Phil Jackson is very renowned for his triangle offense. Ran it with the Chicago Bulls, with the Jordan era. Ran it with the Kobe Bryant and with the Lakers era. It's one of the most just successful offenses in NBA history. And I don't think there's a lot of people who fully understand it. So, of course, Spike Lee wants to help out his fellow Knicks fans, and he's making a documentary on how the triangle offense runs. And it was really funny because Phil was interviewed about this, and he said of Spike Lee, Spike is an avid Knicks fan who doesn't know anything about basketball. And Armand, what do you think about this?
Joe, it's short and it's bittersweet. Phil Jackson is a correct man, all right?
He is correct. I agree.
What does Spike Lee know about anything?
I mean, here's the thing. There's NBA head coaches, GMs, organizations who don't know how the triangle offense runs, and Spike Lee is going to be the one to figure it out and tell me in a documentary how the triangle runs. If I want to know how the triangle runs, I want to hear from Phil, not Spike Lee. That's just the way it is.
Joe, I happen to agree with you.
There you go. Great. Now, I don't know why, Armand, but I want to talk a little Celtics before we go to a break. Because
Celtics?
I want to talk about Rondo specifically because I've never been a big Rajon Rondo fan. They draft Marcus Smart, which kind of tells you they're not retain him.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good move because I can't stand Rondo's attitude.
I don't like Rondo either.
You can't win with a guy with that attitude. And now I know all Knicks fans have been clamoring for them to get him, but could you imagine pairing Rondo with Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith?
No.
That is a disaster. That is doomsday.
That's 3 head cases on the court.
Oh, my God. I mean, look, Doc Rivers, I have all the respect in the world for him. When you have your point guard who can't get along with your head coach, somebody who people respect as much as Doc Rivers, you've got an attitude problem, and I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah, Rondo always got underneath his fellow player's skin.
Yeah.
And I never liked that. He always would be very... I just don't think he's a leader. I don't.
I think that's a very good point. Unless you're like a team with like a star guy like Durant or LeBron, you need your point guard to be one of the leaders on the team. And Rondo's kind of one of those guys where he's by himself.
Yeah, he never took criticism well.
No, definitely never.
Even
took
Doc
criticism.
Rivers will tell you that.
I think that's a good. I don't know. I can't deal with Rondo. And for the Celtics, I don't know. I think they're still obviously in rebuilding stage. What do you think about Jared Sullinger? I mean, for people like you who don't remember him, came out of Ohio State, had a very good year, had some back problems, which kind of decreased his value a little bit. But I think he's played pretty well from what I've seen of him. When I watch him.
I mean, he's a powerhouse player.
He is.
He's a big guy in the post. He's got a little bit of a mid-range game. I mean, he's a hustler. That's
a
what he is.
good way to put it. He's
got a lot of hard hustle
hustler.
for the game, so
He's a smart kid too. I like him.
I think he could be a starting 4 in this league.
There you go. I mean, listen, for the Celtics, it's obviously going to take a little while to get back. It seems like they've got things going in the right direction.
They got Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, from
center?
Arizona.
Is he their center?
Is he? I don't know if he's their starter. He's not their starter. I don't know.
He said Gonzaga.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, Gonzaga. That's right. Not Arizona. Wait, yeah. I don't know. That was remember a couple years ago, he was one of the guys lighting it up in the tournament?
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. I don't know, though.
Who they got? They got Marcus Smart, Rondo. I like Avery Bradley. I mean, he can stop the ball.
I do, too.
He's a guy who locks up in the best defense on the best score.
Yeah, Doc liked him a lot. He's a smart player.
I think Jeff Green, when it's all said and done, is the best player on this ball club.
Yeah, I won't dispute that. I definitely won't. You saw some of the battles he had against the Miami Heat last year, winning one of the
first. He's been playing very good the last 2 years.
Yeah. The thing
and he came back from heart surgery, like.
I know, that's
pretty
incredible.
remarkable.
And the crazy thing about the Celtics, I mean, is like they're not the most talented ball club. They don't have the most talented roster, but their head coach Bradley Stevens, I mean, he really has them. They're a smart team. They're not going to make a lot of mistakes, and I think that's definitely something that.
At the end of the day, they try so hard. The Celtics. Whenever I see them playing, they're always running up and down the floor. I think it's the city of Boston. I think
that attitude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the fans. The fans of Boston are probably one of the best fans in the world.
I mean,
unfortunately, yeah. I'm a New York fan, but you can't say that the Boston fans are not equally as good as the New York fans.
See, like, out of all the major Boston teams, probably the Celtics are the one I have the least like amount of just hate towards. I mean, the Red Sox can't stand them. New England, I mean, they're okay, but Boston Bruins,
I would say the Red Sox are number 1.
The Celtics, I mean, a little bit. Larry Bird did a lot for me.
That's just not true. I did not like the Celtics when Pierce and Garnett there because I despise both of them.
I can't stand. I liked Kevin Garnett in Minnesota.
But then he came here and became a hooligan.
When he won that championship, he was acting like a fool.
Yeah, he acted like a fool. He was not a professional.
He was not at all. And Paul Pierce is just, I don't know. I've never liked Paul Pierce either.
I always liked Ray Allen. I never had no beef with Ray Allen.
He's a hard guy not to like. I mean, he just kind of one of those guys. He's quiet and he shows up and does his job.
I don't like Rondo. I mean, I just hated the whole Celtic team.
All right, before I hear that, I hated that team too. I wanted Kobe to.
Although I do like Doc. I think he's
me too.
Top 3 best coaches in the league. I respect Doc.
Doc is I mean, you put Doc anywhere. You gotta respect Doc. But we did just talk about Ray Allen before we end the segment. We just keep on coming up with new things. But Ray Allen, what's he gonna do? Is he just waiting it out for training camp to end? Maybe come in some point in the season, that way he doesn't have to waste his legs. He comes in and plays, or is he legitimately retiring for real?
I think he's legitimately retiring now because if he was gonna come back, he would have came back in training camp. He's not gonna an elderly guy like him in the league is not gonna come in during the month of December.
Well, do you think maybe that's why he's waiting, because he doesn't want to put that wear and tear on his body through training camp?
That's a good point too. I mean, I just think that especially if he's going to a new ball club, he wants to be familiar with the players, the system, the coaching staff. So I would think that he would go to Cleveland now.
I think that's a good point there too, because I mean, obviously, if he did wait and this is what his plan is.
I mean, he could pull the Tracy McGrady. Remember when he came back with the Spurs? Joined the team in their championship series.
Oh man, I felt kind of bad then because I love T-Mac. I've always liked T-Mac a lot, and so I mean, the Heat did get the win there.
I mean, I'm sorry that shouldn't even count to Tracy's record, even if they would have won, because he kind of basically cheated.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think I kind of liked it from.
I always love Tracy McGrady though.
T-Mac,
second favorite basketball player all time.
Vince Carter and T-Mac.
Family.
There you go. Family right there. Family is what matters. But on that note, let's end this first segment. Stay tuned with us, talking a lot more sports. We'll try to come up with something for Tara to talk about with us. But other than that, thank you for tuning in and stay tuned with us.